What are you fighting? What are you fighting for? What are you fighting against? Because we're broken people living in a broken world, which means we're all fighting something. It's just how life works until heaven. For some of you, maybe it's, I'm fighting for freedom from things like anxiety and depression and insecurity, and loneliness and self-doubt. For some of you, maybe you're fighting for a loved one, for them to experience some freedom, for them to find Jesus, for them to experience life change. Maybe some of you are praying about starting a family. Maybe some of you are fighting to keep a family together, fighting for your marriage, fighting for a dream, fighting against the diagnosis, whatever it is. Like, this is us, right? And what happens is life happens and we get tired, and sometimes we get discouraged, and sometimes we get frustrated. And what we're tempted to do is, if not permanently, at least temporarily, just sort of give up. I'm just done. I'm done praying for this because look, nothing's happening. I'm done trying to trust God because look around, it's not working. I'm done believing that he's got something. I'm done trying to obey. I'm done giving, serving, showing up, inviting people to church, sharing my faith, sharing my story, taking what God has given me in my life and turning around and trying to make a difference in this world and share it with somebody else. Like, nothing's going my way. I'm done. You ever felt that? I know I have. And Paul's writing to Timothy because that's exactly how Timothy feels. He's struggling. Stop it. You were not given a spirit of fear. That word actually means cowardice. It says, Timothy, stop. Stop acting like a coward. God put a fighter spirit inside of you. Now, you don't have a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Now, if you want to experience the plans that God has for you, you're going to have to do what I did. And it starts with this. Fight the fight. He says, I have fought the good fight. Timothy, fight the fight. It's going to be a fight, but you can do this. Fight the fight. Finish the race. I have fought that fight and I have finished the race. Paul says, listen, because there's opposition and because you're human, there's going to be times when you want to quit. And he says, you can choose not to. You can choose to finish. A lot of people start, very few finish. He said, you want to experience everything God has for you? You got to decide. I know I'm stepping into opposition because I got a fighter spirit inside of me, and I can't choose whether or not I experience opposition, but I can choose whether or not I quit. I'm going to finish this race. Do not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up.
You can't quit. You got to stick with it. These faithful actions that we take, these faithful little drops over time, make a tremendous difference. Being faithful in the little things is a really big thing.
Whether you realize it or not, we are in a fight. Every day, sometimes it's just a fight just to keep your sanity. You have to keep on fighting. Keep on fighting. Please understand this. Please remember this. Victory, 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 without exception, is always on the other side of a battle. It's always on the other side of a fight. Victory is always on the other side of a fight. Here's how the word of the Lord puts it in Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. Let us not be weary in well-doing, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. Because there's always a temptation to give up when you have setbacks, when you get tired. Be not weary. He says, don't be weary in doing good. Yes, you can get tired because you feel like nobody's acknowledging it. And sometimes you do things for people and then they don't even acknowledge it. You get weary and it's like, well, why am I doing this? We're doing it because it's right. The Apostle Paul, writing to the church at Galatia, said to them in Galatians chapter 5 and verse 7, he says, you were running well. Who hindered you from obeying the truth? But see, if the devil can get you discouraged and keep you discouraged, he can get you derailed so that you quit. Yeah. That's the issue. Theodore Roosevelt said this. He says, courage is not having the strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have the strength. When you got to keep going even when you feel like you don't have the strength to go on. How many times have you just said to a person, I'm finished. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. How easy it is to get discouraged because things don't happen fast enough for us and we become discouraged. Listen, don't be weary in well-doing, because you're going to reap in due season if you don't get weary, because there is a reward. And so I just tell you, stay faithful. Stay faithful.
There was a day when you were so sure, you were so confident that what you envisioned for your life was going to happen, that nothing or no one was going to keep you from that. Nothing was going to deter you or stop you, keep you from doing or becoming what you had set out to go after. It was already yours. So what happened? What happened? And here's what one writer in the Bible, he asked the question in a really similar way. He says this, he says, it is for freedom that Christ set us free. That's a vision. I want my life to be about freedom. That's right. That's the vision for my life. Stand firm. That's relentless conviction. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. And then he just gets right to it. You were running a good race. You were doing so great. Remember? Who cut in on you to keep you from obeying the truth? What happened? That kind of persuasion that cut in on you does not come from God, the one who calls you. You're doing great. We were doing great. You had a plan. You had a vision. What happened? I'm going to throw this out. Here's what I think the answer is. Real life happened. Reality happened. Or to quote the great theologian Mike Tyson, he said it this way: everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Can I get an amen? That's just true, all right? That quote came from an interview right before Tyson fought Evander Holyfield, all right? The guy doing the interview, when Tyson said that, he says, what I like so much about that quote is that the application stretches far beyond boxing. It really has meaning in any area of life, whether the blow comes from a health issue or losing your job or making a bad investment or a traffic jam, whatever. And he said this: it's how you react to that adversity that defines you, not the adversity itself.
And you know what we want to feel like? And I don't think it's wrong. You just want to feel like you're doing good in life. You just want to feel like you're keeping a good pace, you're on a good path, you're making a difference, and every once in a while you want to know that you're passing a few people. You know, I don't even know what that means, passing a few, but you just want to feel like, you know, I'm kind of rounding the corner here and I'm kind of on my way, making a difference. And then what happens? Life. I've quoted Mike Tyson and this one quote so many times. I quoted it yesterday. We were doing an interview with some friends and I said, Mike Tyson always said, and he meant this about his fighting. I love this statement. He's like, everyone's like, Mike, what are you going to do? You know, so-and-so's going to fight you. Are you worried? He's like, everybody's got a plan. These dudes can plan, but the plan's out the window when they get punched in the face. Sounds like life, right? Everybody's got big plans. And all of a sudden we got punched by life. It's going to happen. And all of a sudden you're like, well, that big old punch in the face wasn't in the plan. What do I do now? And all of a sudden it's like, well, I think maybe all is lost and I'll just go ahead and give up.
You can't think of one story or one person. You've not watched one movie or read a book. There's no person in your life who has done or is currently pursuing something significant who at some point didn't get smashed in the mouth. They all did. Be that by life or a circumstance. What would be the common storyline shared between all great people who accomplish great things and experience an abundant life? What do they all have in common? Here are some in common things that would not be on the list. Okay? They all experienced a smash in the mouth free life. That's how they had a good life. No. They all made a rigid plan years ago, and everything always went exactly as planned without the need to flex or risk or adapt anything. That's their key to success. Do you know anybody like that? Their recipe for growing success in their life was making excuses and blaming other people and playing the victim card and rarely doing what they said they were going to do. That was their road to greatness. How about everybody and every voice in their life agreed with them every day and supported them all along the way? Is that anybody's story? How about they did it all by themselves and didn't need help from anybody else?